the heels of another signing by the governor for House Bill 1250. We have the main sponsor of this in studio this morning, Dan Griffey, 35th District Representative. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Congratulations on this bill last night. Saw some pictures coming out of the State House, signing ceremonies and things like that. So this is the one authorizing retail marijuana outlets to give free lockable drug boxes to adults 21 years and over and to qualifying patients 18 years and over, subject to restrictions, of course. And you've been working hard on this all throughout the legislative session. Seems like it's a pretty good deal for folks who use recreational or medical marijuana that have families with kids and pets. You don't want them getting into this.
No, you don't. You really don't. And then, I got to give credit to the person that brought the idea to me, Ben Johnson from Mason County. Talked to Tammy Newton when she was working at Mason County, and Tammy says, "Hey, Ben, call Dan. Dan will work something up," and we did. About 6 months before session, we had the bill language kind of rudimentary put together, and then worked it through the process. We only had one vote. We missed one vote. That was Senator Erickson didn't vote for it, and I don't blame some of them. There's the cannabis is a very contentious issue.
Still is,
and some people just don't want their name associated with it in any way, shape, or form, and I don't blame them.
Sure.
But what this bill was going to do is see if we can start educating and making sure that people that are using recreational marijuana, because the edibles are packaged in a similar way to candies and those sort of things. So let's see if we can, educate, give the resources to the retail shops to do this. And then we got some good news yesterday. A lobbyist from one of the biggest co-ops said they're buying 1,000 of them to hand out for free.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are these going to look like? In my mind, I'm thinking kind of what you would use as a cash box at your garage sale. Kind of just a foot long by foot square.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's pretty much what they look like. I mean, if those of you who own firearms, it looks like a small gun safe that you would have alongside your bed.
Yeah.
Just the really small ones. They're nothing special. It's just another barrier, and it's just encouraging people. What happened when we legalized marijuana is that there started to be a popular opinion that there was no negative to it at all. And when young children and animals get into it, there are some significant negatives, and even some adults just can't tolerate it, and some psychological disorders don't. Schizophrenia and those sort of things don't react well to that. So let's kind of put the brakes on a little bit and say that let's protect those who need protecting. And I would like the bill. It was I was so glad Ben brought it to me, and I'm glad Tammy thought of me.
Pretty cool deal there. What else is going on? I know you've been working hard to try to help some senior centers around the area keep some of their tax money. Is that kind of still going forward?
Well, we're hoping the governor signs it.
Okay, so it's up to him now. It's on his desk.
The Department of Revenue, so the legislature says this is a good idea to give the tax exemption. Department of Revenue doesn't like the idea, and the Department of Revenue is a department under the governor's department. So I don't know. I'm hoping the governor sees the light and knows that the seniors keeping the money locally is the best idea, and they can use $20,000 to them is a lot more than $20,000 to the state of Washington.
And it wasn't going to be a massive amount of money.
It's out of all of the. So it only affects private senior centers. The public senior centers are non-taxed anyway, right? So at last count, we believe we have 8 in the state of Washington. So it's not a big deal. We've been working really hard on that. The negotiations are still going on now, talking about what the budget's going to look like. But it's kind of morphed right now in that, some people say it's all about education. Well, it's really about education and water rights, because the Democrats failed to move at all on the Hearst decision, which was the private water rights, the exempt wells. So there's lots of pieces out there, and trying to get a negotiated deal on the Hearst decision, meaning, so us in the rural communities can still drill wells and have water on our properties, is important. So there's more moving pieces than just education that we can't come to agreement on, or we're not coming to a quick agreement on. So it'll be a little bit of time. It'll be a wild ride, but we're going to come out in the end with, I think, a good bipartisan budget. Again, we're going to come up with a fix to Hearst. Boy, I sure hope so.
I mean, it eventually happens. We'd all like to just see it kind of happen a little quicker, maybe.
I would love it to happen a lot quicker. Like we talked about the last week, it would be way better if we wrote the budget that all of our ongoing projects that we do and continuing state agency work. And then once we get to the revenue forecast, that's how we pay for all the new policies that we want to enact.
Because the first forecast comes out in December, and you guys all come to session in January, so you'll have already kind of understood those numbers and know where you're moving forward to. Just kind of hurry up and waiting around for these March. Hope and
I'm relatively new in the legislature, and it seems like we've gotten into a habit of let's wait till the June forecast. A lot of people think that the entire legislature is there getting per diem, that kind of thing, and that's really not the case. Who's there is senior leadership and senior negotiators. Like I said, it's way better that that's the case, because you can't have the entire legislature in one room trying to fight it out. You'd have 98 different things to butt heads about. So I think it's better that we've established our negotiators for the capital budget, on the Hearst decision, and on the K-12 funding task force. We have that. They meet every day, I believe now. So I think we're going to come to an agreement. I wished it would have been in the time that we were allotted, but we've have to come to an agreement on Hearst, and we have to come to an agreement on McCleary. So.
Well, let's lighten things up a little bit. As part of the signing process yesterday was also Take Your Kids to Work Day.
Yeah.
And did I see some of the kids come along with you?
Well, if you saw to the left of me was my assistant and her daughter, and in front of me, my grandson William comes to every bill signing or anything I do at the Capitol where I don't have a lot of meetings. He calls it Capitol House, and he has to go to Capitol House, and he knew about bill signings ahead of time. He's talked to the governor several times, and the governor's very nice to him, and he's getting to know William a little bit now, because this is our third bill signing. So it's fun stuff.
What kind of goes on during one of those days where it's a bring your kid to work day? I can't imagine that it's the same sort of stressful day in day out. It's got to be a little bit of a nice break.
Yeah, I know, it's a great day. So yesterday I went to work to Olympia for 3 meetings and the bill signing, so I wasn't there very long. So I brought my wife, so I had somebody that could take care of him when we were in meetings. But he just gets such a kick out of it, and it just warms my heart to have him there. And all the kids get a pencil with the signature of the governor on it, and then I get a pin that actually signed the legislation and the law. It's a good time. It's
so cool. We're very fortunate to be so close to the Capitol. I mean, where the laws are made in the state. There's people on the other side of the mountains, and just so
7-hour drive.
7-hour drives. That's right, and we're half an hour or less.
I think one of the reasons why we get thousands more phone calls and constituent contacts than most legislators do. When my assistant tells the other assistants, how much work she does, they're like, "Wow, I can't believe that." But we're engaged. We know how close we are, and we show up.
It's just a really cool thing. Well, congratulations on the signing yesterday, and hope for some more coming down the pike. 35th District Representative Dan Griffey, have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Good.